So it appears that we are recording.
All right. My screen?
That's it. We can see your presentation.
Awesome.
And I'm going to turn off my videos so that you can kind of focus on Chandra's beautiful face. But of course, we're still right here if you need us.
Okay. So these are some numbers that matter in Facebook. 25 is the number that will allow you to actually customize your URL. When you initially set up your page, it's going to give you a default, but you can actually specify exactly what you want your page to be called. So your ministry name will most likely, your ministry or organizational name is the one that I would actually suggest that you put there. The number 30 is the number of people that you need to like your page for you to be able to have page insights. And page insights are actually your analytics. Many of you are probably already on Facebook on the personal side. You probably have thousands of friends and you get to share and voice your opinions that way. The downfall of only having a personal page is that you actually don't get analytics. So you don't know how many people actually engage with your content, how many people watch your videos, how many people share, because that's actually not something that's done on the personal side. Facebook didn't create it to be that. But on the professional side, when you actually have a page, you can actually track the efforts of your page down to the most effective time to actually post. The number 50, that is actually when you can put up a discount or an ad, or if you were having something special, you could actually advertise it and Facebook will let you offer something to your clients. And you can't do that on the personal side. You can't do that if you have under 50 likes. And the best number there is 100. 100 is the best because when you have 100 people actually like and engage with your page, you have the opportunity to see the page insights of another organization that's in your area. So if you're looking at somebody's page and they seem to be massively successful, a lot of people are engaging with them, you can actually take a little peek into their analytics and see what they're doing and actually implement some of those same techniques to increase the effectiveness of your own page. Okay. When most people start on social media, they're so excited that they just kind of jump in there. And it's very easy to have access to the platform. It's not like traditional media. The unfortunate part of it is that they don't plan ahead. And because they don't plan ahead, they don't know, okay, I'm going to post this day and actually have material set up to be posted. Having a page is great, but if it goes dead, meaning that you don't post for a while, you end up losing your audience. And the way that Facebook actually works is on the pages, the more that the people who like your page engage with it, the more they see what you post show up in their news feed. The newsfeed on Facebook is that center portion that as soon as you log in, you see different articles, you see different things that your friends have posted or different pictures that they have actually put up or events they're going to. All of those events show up in the newsfeed. And the more somebody interacts with your page, the more they see what you do. When you stop posting for a while, then Facebook has no new material to pull. So you will stop showing up in your friends' newsfeed. And when you say, okay, oh my God, I forgot that I haven't posted in 3 weeks, and you start posting again, it actually takes a while before you start getting back into the cycle of their newsfeed and they see your information more often. So it's really important to post on a regular basis. But in order to be successful with that, before you even start posting, have a plan. What am I actually going to be putting up? What kind of content should I be sharing? Are you going to write all of your content? I wouldn't suggest that. It takes a lot of effort unless you are a writer. But there are other content avenues out there that you could actually be sharing that won't all be produced by you. Facebook has a scheduler on it as well. So if you are discovering that my people look at night at 7 o'clock, that's when they go online. They're done with work, they're done eating, and they're browsing. So that's when you want to post to them. Post when your people are there. But you may not want to be on Facebook at 7 o'clock at night. You may want to be at a movie or doing something outside of sitting at your computer. Facebook actually has a tool called Facebook Scheduler, and you can go in and write your post and choose exactly what time and exactly what date that post will actually show up. So you don't have to be a slave to your computer or your phone. You could just use that tool and you can schedule out as far as a couple of years and not even have to think about it. Your third important point is to search for good content. If you know that you are heavily into the arts and that's what you're pushing, look at what art commissions are doing. Look at some artistic events that are going on in your area that you could possibly share, articles in the newspapers, videos. There are all kinds of sources that you can plug into that could actually help you diversify your information and offer quality content to your people. There are people who will automatically like your page because they know you're their friend, and they really want to support what you do. But giving them solid content is actually what's going to make them continue to come back. Content is king. That link that I shared with you is hootsuite.com. Hootsuite will allow you to schedule just as Facebook does, but the benefit of it is you can schedule for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, all from one panel, as opposed to being on these separate sites trying to remember, oh, did I post something on Twitter today? Or when is that particular post going out? You can actually do it all from Hootsuite. I think that it's up to 3 accounts that are actually free. Above that, they have paid services. But that's a wonderful option for you if you have multiple channels and want to be able to track it without logging into each social media network. Okay, my friends, if you decide to do social media, don't forget to let people know that you're doing it. If you have a website, link your website to your social media channels, because when people visit your page, they could actually click or like your Facebook page or even your Twitter from your website. If you don't know how to do it, make sure that you ask whoever designed your page. And if you're using a system like WordPress, there are plugins that will connect your website to your social media channels. If you have flyers or any other print material, put your URL on that material so that as you're advertising for your events or any upcoming meetings, people will also see that you actually have a Facebook page. Another benefit of doing that is if there's somebody that you don't know, they just hear about you randomly, or their friend is affiliated with you, when they like your Facebook page, their friend will actually get an alert that so-and-so liked blah blah's page. And if they're curious, they can click on it and find out about your ministry or your organization, even if they've never even met you. So advertise as much as possible. A place that people often forget to advertise, even though it seems very simple, is in their email signature. As often as you send out emails, you could be telling somebody about your organization. And it's just as easy as writing one more line under your name that has the URL. I would also suggest doing that for your website as well. Business cards, flyers, even if you're partnering with somebody else and they actually agree to put your name on there, put your URL for your organization. Take as many opportunities to tell people where you are as possible, because that's going to be one of the ways that you actually grow your audience. Okay. Many of you have already started your organizations, and I know that you're seeing that it is actually a lot of work. It's massively rewarding, but it takes a lot to accomplish. And so I hope that you are building good people around you to help you with the work. And one of the areas where I would encourage you getting some help is in social media. Um, One of the greatest tools that you could have is the development of a social media content calendar. And what that will do is help you to organize what you're going to post. If you're working with someone else, you can actually get on the same page and say, okay, I'm going to post this on this day, you post this on this day. And Tuesday would be my day to moderate. So if anybody's is saying anything, if anybody's commenting, that will be my day that I will actually go on and make sure that nothing's posted that's inappropriate, and that if somebody's put something up there, I'm actually communicating with them. And Wednesday will be your day. And you can actually organize that and not take on the entire project by yourself. A social media calendar will help you to keep up with what you've actually posted. When I initially started doing this, I didn't keep a calendar. And it's odd because content online cycles sometimes. And if you aren't aware of, hey, 5 months ago, I thought that article was really cool and I posted it and I'm about to post it again, you can end up duplicating your material. And if somebody's actually watching your page, it doesn't bode well that you're actually just cycling the same content. So it helps you make sure that you're not duplicating information. It allows you to plan ahead so that even if you're on vacation, your social media channels will still continue to go, and it will help you keep track of your posting frequency. Now, on Facebook, the suggestion is that you post 3 to 10 times a week. And this sounds like a lot if you don't do that naturally, but if you are using a calendar and using a scheduler, it won't be work. You could just take off Monday for 2 or 3 hours and go ahead and set up all of your posts and not have to think about it for the rest of the week unless somebody's engaging with it. And of course, you have to communicate back. Form a team, form a team, form a team. I can't say it enough. You don't want to do this by yourself unless you absolutely have to, but it really does help to have somebody else who's looking at the material with you or who can pick up the slack when you can't do it. So if you decide to form a team, I would treat it like I would even in traditional ministry. First meeting, let them know why they're there. The purpose of your posting, is it to inform people? Is it to entertain them? Is it to share the message of who you are, or using the space to develop community? And all of those different aspects is going to affect what you end up posting. If you are doing it for the sake of informing people, then be very clear of what type of information you're going to share and what would be the most relevant for your audience. Make sure that your people know everything they need to know about your organization and what your messaging is, because you want the information that is posted to fit in with your brand. A lot of my messaging and a lot of the posts that I share on 3C is Creative is around social media, graphic design, color schemes, because those things are all relevant to some of the training that I do. So if I'm pulling a news article or something from Pantone or talking about a contest, I'm trying to undergird the trainings that are available and the services that are offered by my business. It's the same with you. If you have a ministry and you focus on HIV/AIDS prevention, then World AIDS Day is going to be a big day for you. Celebrations in a city would be big for you. Posting different prayers that could be used or different services in the community will all be significant information that you could share on your social media channels. And when you develop your team, make sure that they actually care. A lot of people tend to go with those who are younger or who they feel like have a good grasp on the technical aspects of social media, and that's great, but that's not all that you need. You need people who actually care about the work that you do and have the same heart for it, even if they're not leading the organization, because they could find out something that you don't know if they're also in those same circles. I have a friend who is very heavily involved with the homeless population here. He sits on a board for an organization, and he keeps track of when the feeding programs that are occurring. Now, if I had an organization that I dealt with the homeless, I would want to pull him because he's already in that circle and he already loves that ministry, as opposed to saying, okay, well, this person is on Facebook and they're on Twitter. They know what they're doing. I'm going to give it to them. It would make a total difference in your project if you have somebody who actually has a heart for what you are doing. So their qualifications top. Does this person also love the work? Do they love the people that we're trying to serve? Because they're going to be helping and writing and crafting your content or helping you find content, and they need to be as heavily invested as you are. So your volunteers should have technical skill, but they should also care. And even if you decide that, hey, social media is not my thing, I'm going to put somebody else over that, you need to still give some oversight. Check your page every now and then to ensure that what is being posted is appropriate. Um, Social media is very, very pervasive. It is public square. So be careful in some of the things that you post. If you have an event and there are people who come to your event and you snap off pictures and it seems like, oh, it's great, there are a lot of people here, we want to show people that there are a lot of people here, don't automatically post those pictures because you haven't gotten permission yet. And they actually may not want their pictures posted publicly. So if that's something that you want to do, make sure that you talk to people and that you actually get them to sign an agreement saying that they're okay with their face being used to essentially promote your organization. Some people do not want to be out there, and some people really shouldn't have their faces posted publicly. And depending on the type of organization that you have, if there's a stigma involved socially, they're going to be less likely to say, yes, I want my face put on Facebook or on Twitter or on your brochure, but always ask first. So just be cognizant of that. And anybody who you have on your team needs to be aware of that as well. Simply coming to your event or supporting you does not mean that they are giving you license to use their image to promote your organization.
So Chandra, I'm going to push pause here for a second and ask that we take a couple of questions. We got several coming in.
Okay.
So Al had a question. Does Hootsuite have special pricing for nonprofits?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So folks can look into that and see what's available there. You also spoke about a social media content calendar. Do you have a template for something like that or a good example of that?
I can send you a template to share with them. But it could be something just as simple as a Google Calendar, where you could just wait, which is actually good. I prefer Google Calendar because you can actually share that out as opposed to it being something on your computer, especially if you're going to work with other people. But you could just have on the Google Calendar what article you're posting and what time is going to be posted. And you can track that. And it also gives you reminders if you were going to, do it on the ongoing basis as opposed to setting everything up in Schedule or Hootsuite. But I can definitely send you an example that you can email out to them.
That would be great. And then Dr. Irie Session is asking, how many people should we have on a team if we form a social media team?
I would say to at least have 3 because they may not make it the whole year, or if somebody drops out on you, you're not stuck starting from scratch.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And Larry also put on a little bit of information in your Q&A box about Hoot Giving, the nonprofit program for Hootsuite. So that's another way to look into how nonprofits can access Hootsuite, and what benefits there are to checking in there as a nonprofit.
And most of them do have supplemental services for nonprofits. Like even YouTube will allow, if you're registered as a nonprofit, you can just, submit your 501c3 information to YouTube. And when you end up posting a video, they will actually let nonprofits put donate tabs, which they don't let anybody else do, in order to give back to that organization. So somebody could actually click on your video and donate through YouTube as a special privilege for nonprofits.
Excellent.
And I think I mentioned at your at Cent that if somebody is a nonprofit, that you can actually use dreamhost.com and get free hosting as a nonprofit.
That's right. That was DreamHost, DreamHost.com.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's great because several of us are paying Yahoo and GoDaddy and who knows who else to host us when there's a free opportunity. So that's great to know. One more question before we go back to your slides. Are there any webinars that can train your team on social media? And that one's from Savaskia. So maybe if you had a team who had all the passion, but maybe not all the technical skills, is there a way for a team like that to get training? I mean, I would say have them watch this video, but you'll have when it's over, but there may be other good stuff out there.
There are some things out there. Intro stuff I haven't looked at in a while, so I would have to research some intro stuff. I'm working on some stuff that I will hope to have done at the beginning of the year in order to train people who need a few extra steps and need the pace to go a little bit slower. But I'll keep you posted.
Excellent. And we'll be able to communicate with the attendees of this webinar after it's over. And so we can share some of these things that we're talking about and discovering there that way as well. All right, LaShondra, back to you.
Okay, this is where your homework kicks in. And even if you didn't do the homework, don't freak out, especially if you just signed up and you're like, okay, what are you talking about? But type in this URL and we're going to jump into Facebook. If you already have Facebook, you won't need to follow all of these steps, but for those who don't, that's who this spot is for. Just give me 1 second to share a different screen with you. So if you typed in that URL, you should see this page, which is create a page on Facebook. So for most of you, you're going to be a company, organization, or institution. And then you have the opportunity to choose a category. And even if you have all these wonderful options, but for many of you, you're going to choose that you're a nonprofit organization. And you're going to give it a name. Okay, his name is something else then. Okay. So the next step is setting up your page. So the about that I told you guys to write, that is actually what you will place here. And this content is very, very important because not only does it tell people about you, but this is the information that will be pulled when Google does a search and is looking for search keywords that are affiliated with your organization. And that is search engine optimization, or SEO keywords. If you have a website or have actually sat down with somebody to plan your website, then you've probably heard that word put out there. Search engine optimization is just what a search engine will look for to find you. So for me, it would be the search engine will look for 3C, because that's the name of my business, consulting, graphic design, So you will put in those main keywords that are affiliated with your organization in your about page. And it's only 155 characters. It's a very short description, but that is what Google actually uses when somebody puts in a quick keyword. Their relationship between Google and Facebook is actually this section right here. So this is super important. Don't just throw anything in there. Tell people about you using the words that you think they would use to find you. And if you have a website or Instagram or Twitter, you can put that information right there. And remember why I told you that if you have 25 likes, you get to pick your own special name and not just some random characters? This is actually where you will put in what you want your name to be. It won't actually kick in until you hit your 25, but this is where you put it in. If you choose a name that is already there, Facebook will of course not give it to you because that URL will belong to somebody else. See? Making it is taken, so choose something else. That probably won't be there. Okay. Now it is time for your pictures. So if you have a picture that's currently on a website, you can just pull from there, or you can pull from your computer. And don't be worried if I'm going kind of fast. I told Ayana that I will go through the steps because I know that the pacing will be different for different people. And just make sure that I record it well enough that you can go back and pull the information. So for this, I'm just going to use a picture of myself. But if you have your logo, then use your logo instead. Okay. This particular question is for you. And that just is asking, where do you actually want this page to show up when you go to Facebook? You can add it to your favorites under your news feed and your messages or in events. I usually go with the default, which is the news feed, and I'll show you actually where it pops up later. So if I want to add it to my favorites, I can. If I don't want to, I can just skip that option. Okay, so this is really important. It may not feel like it right now, but it is. This is your audience. Now, many of you may think, okay, my audience is everybody that I know. That's great. But there are some people that you don't know who may be interested in what you're doing. And so your audience will actually, choosing your audience will give you a chance to say, this is who I want you to target, Facebook. And at this moment, it may not matter. But if you do an event in your area, or if you have an ad that you put out there, and their ads are super cheap on Facebook, then Facebook is actually going to use some of this information to share your page. You know how you go on Facebook and you like a page and then it suggests all these other things to you? Well, part of that is, hey, so-and-so liked this page, so I'm going to show them some similar pages. But then they also look at this demographic information. So if that page actually aligns with the demographic information that you put in as a personal user, then they're more likely to suggest to you that you should also like it. So this is mega important. Location, everyone in this location, and that location will be contingent upon the information that you put in when you set it up. So if you are living in New York, then it's going to be looking in New York. If you used to live in New York and now you live in Texas, but you never updated that information, you really probably should, because Facebook is going to be looking at the information that you put in on your profile, not necessarily that you moved and you didn't tell them. So if I say, I'm sorry, that I want everybody who lives in this area, and I can click that, and I could actually put in the name of the cities that I want Facebook to target for me. You see that option that says, the 25 miles, you can make that range as large as you want. And if it's not overlapping, then I can say, okay, what's near? I also want Denton. So it's going to give me that little around Denton. I also want Fort Worth. So I get that as well, and I can extend out my circles. So what it's doing is giving me geographic locations that I can actually target. And so when I do an ad, or if I put something out like an event, or share something publicly, I can actually choose this as my audience. And I can also choose my age. It starts at 18 because you're really not supposed to be trying to interact with those who are younger. That's the default. But I may say, I have a ministry for baby boomers. So I'm going to change that to a number that is within that age range. Let me remember what that age range is. Maybe 50 plus. 65 plus is the top. And if I am doing a ministry to women, and I only want women in there, then I would choose that. If I only want men, I would choose that. And of course, there's all. A next thing that I would say not to overlook is the interest. Interests are going to categorize your page. So if my page is about film, then I will put film in as my interest, and other people who said, yes, I'm interested in film, are actually going to see my page. So just putting in that little bit of information tells me these are my film options. And I could say, I like short films. And there are this number to the side will tell you all the people who have actually said that they have an interest in short films. We go with documentaries. It's a bigger number. Let's pick one more. Well, let me. I'm really not into horror movies. We're going to pick it anyway. So don't forget to do that. That's really, really, really important. And that's also available for nonprofits as well. And my language. We'll go with all Englishes. And you can put in multiple languages. And when you are done, just click Save. And this is what pops up. So this is the information that you actually just populated. Facebook has changed the format for the page just slightly. This profile picture used to be here, but now they've opened up this whole section. And this is a cover. Do not leave this blank because it looks somewhat unprofessional and you are missing out on an opportunity to actually advertise to people who visit your page. So you could put up an image that depicts what you do. You can put up a graphic that is saying to people, hey, I have an event coming up. You should register for it. Or if you just want to put up your logo or something that actually brands your page, do not leave it blank. This is massive opportunity to engage with human beings who are extremely visual. So we're going to put in a cover page. And if this was not a new page, I would choose from photos, but I don't have anything in my photos for this page yet. Okay. If your image is too big, it will actually be slightly larger and you can adjust what part you actually want to be shown. One of the good things about Facebook that I think is often overlooked is that you get these little tips. If you have a moment, take time to see what they're actually sharing with you. They always give great opportunities for people to learn a little bit more about the page, especially when it's brand new. I'm going to pause for a second. If you guys have any questions, this would be a great moment to ask. I see the box flashing, so I'm really not sure if anybody has a question that they want to ask.
This is Ayana. I don't see any coming in on my side, but feel free to do that if someone's raising their hand or wants to put something in the Q&A box or use the chat function. Now's a great time.
Okay. So right now we have the basics of our page set up. And this is where the fun part begins. We get to actually post something. So it's very similar to what happens on the personal side is that you have the little status box and you can just put in some information. So you have status, photo/video. Both of them can be posted here, or event and milestone. And for your organization, if you have an event coming up, you can actually put it in. If you have a milestone, those are really mostly for you, or if there's something that happens in your organization from the start date or even a ribbon cutting, you can actually put that in. But it's very much like the personal side. So I have posted something. Well, I have written something. So here are my options. I can add a photo to my post. I can add how I'm feeling because this might be really deep for me. I can even do a check-in, which will let people know where I am. I can boost my post. Boosting a post is when you're actually advertising that post through Facebook. And if I just click publish, it will automatically send this post out. But I might not want it to do that. See that little drop down? When you click that, you have three options. You can schedule it, which means that I want it to be posted sometime in the future. I can backdate it, which means that a date that's already passed, I can put it up and put a back date on it. I'm not sure why people would want to do that, but it is an option. Or I can save it for later. But I'm going to show you guys how to schedule. So click that drop down button and press the word schedule. And I can schedule later on today, or I can change the time. So we'll say that we're going to post that tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to choose the time zone that is most appropriate for your location. And I can go ahead and click schedule now. And at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it will post that so that anybody who has liked my page will actually see it. If I say, if I'm doing an event and I only want that post that is discussing my event to run until the event actually starts, I can actually tell it when to stop. And I would have to check stop newsfeed distribution. That means that my friends or anybody who has liked this page will not see it beyond that day. So since we're starting it on the 23rd, I could say 24th, 12:45, nobody else sees it anymore, and just press schedule. So when I do that, it shows up as scheduled post and it tells me when it's going to be posted. So if I do a lot of these and I totally forget what that is, I can just go back and see the post and I can actually edit it. And I can edit that post until it actually goes out live. This section is called Publishing Tools, and it actually lets you see everything that you've actually posted. So if I had published things already on this page, I could go back and look at all of them. I could see my scheduled posts, my drafts, or anything that has previously been posted, but I told the newsfeed to stop looking at it. That will show up under expiring posts. Videos. Um, videos are really important to Facebook. Facebook is a platform that is continuing to grow, and it actually has an aim to be the most popular platform. It is in the top two. YouTube is second, but YouTube has the corner on videos. Period, hands down. YouTube is where people go, or the first thing that people think of in regards to sharing their videos. And Facebook, several months ago, decided that they were really going to push their videos, which is why you see Facebook Live, and why if somebody actually posts a video, whether it's on their personal page or from a organizational page, Facebook will push that video out more than it would a text post or even a post with a picture in it. They are really trying to give YouTube some solid competition. So if you end up doing a video or if you want to advertise something, I would say go with the video before going with the still image. Now, I realize that not everybody has a video camera at home and not everybody wants to do Facebook Live or feels comfortable in that medium. But if you just have several stills or images, even from PowerPoint, then you can actually post them in succession on Facebook, and Facebook would treat them like a video. Let me show you what that looks like because it's kind of unfair to mention it and not. So from the publishing tools library, these are the options that you would get. Live, which would shoot your video out there immediately. Everybody who has liked your page, who has, or if it's on your personal side, who has friended you, will get an alert from Facebook that you are currently live. And they will push and push and push that out on your news feed and on their news feed, even after hours after you are done, because they really want people to engage with Facebook in video. And you also have the option to upload. So if you already have a video, you can just press upload and it will let you search on your computer for your video. Let's say I don't have either of those things. I didn't anticipate doing that. It's not even something that I'm into. You just go back to your page and say, okay, I have these pictures, so what can I do with them? I press photo/video. And I get all of these wonderful options. These are pretty new, like within the last 5 months, these were added as options. So if I want to make a makeshift video, I would choose upload photos/videos, and it will let me pick. And I will pick, let's see, some random pictures for you. Actually, that's going to be too big. When you're doing Facebook videos, make sure that you don't choose images that are too large, because if they are print ready videos or very high resolution videos, then Facebook has a really hard time processing them and it could end up choking, meaning that it will actually stop processing them and you won't actually be able to make the video. So smaller images work better. You're looking in the range of between 72 and 250 for your, I'm sorry if this is difficult, but if somebody works with images, this matters. Um, for your DPI, 72 to 250. Once you get into 300, it's really hard for it to process. So I have this one picture and I go, oh my gosh, like I only have one. I could actually duplicate that picture into the next block. And I'll do it again. And what's going to happen is that Facebook can either post this as 3 separate images and little blocks, or it will end up treating it like a video for me. Scroll. All right, let me try that again, because I don't see my post. Okay, there it is. So that's how it treated the multiple images when I just added them, block by block. You go, gosh, I really didn't want that. I really wanted a video. So we're gonna go back to our video again, our photo/video options, and we're gonna choose create a slideshow. And this is our option. You get a window to the side. I have the options of how long I want that image to stay up there. 1 second is really quick. So I may say that I'll go 5. And Facebook gives me the option of whether or not I want to add music. So we'll add some music. And we'll add electric coconut. I don't actually know how that sounds, but we're going to try that. If you're a musician, you can add your own tracks. And I'm also down at the bottom in the little timeline, I can add more pictures, and it will let me add up to 50 seconds. So these are the pictures that I currently have in the photo album. So I can pick from there, or I can upload a photo. And I will just actually alternate between these so that you can see the transition. So these are my pictures, and I'm going to tell it to create a slideshow out of this. If I am not certain that this is what I actually want to do, then I can press play and it will show me what that looks like. And if for some reason you didn't actually like the song, you can change your song. And we'll go with Garage Groove. So this is what people will see if we choose that that's going to be our post. So it just made a video for you. So if you have, like I said, PowerPoint or some images that you've already done, or if you have just a still picture and a caption, then you can actually post that and that could be your video. So if we're ready, hit create slideshow and it pops up as our next post. And you would, of course, write something much better than that. If you have hashtags, use them, because Facebook will actually start to search for your organization or search for your hashtag. Somebody could just plug that in, and they will see any hashtags that have 3C is creative, which is the URL that is used for my business. So if I say, okay, this is so awesome, I want this to go out now, I would click publish. If I say, I don't want people to see this quite yet, then I would go back to my scheduler, remember the scheduler, and say schedule, choose my date and time. I'll do it at noon when people are going on their lunch break. I would tell it when I want it to stop and just press schedule. And I don't see it because it's not time for me to see it. So, let's see our time. Okay, we're good on time. So let's say I had this going and I really wanted to make that front page a little more dynamic. I could add a button, and that button would give me more options than just having that image up there. So if I had particular services or an organization that took appointments, then I would use book our services, and it will let people actually choose to register from Facebook. So on your website, you need to have a registration page set up, or a page where a person could go and submit their information. You could put your URL there. If you use Eventbrite, you could put your Eventbrite URL. It doesn't have to be on a website. So add the button. Thank you. So now when somebody goes to my page, they could click book now, and it will actually take them away from the page to registration. If I want to test the button, I could. And it worked because that's my website. So on your personal side, I know many of you have probably used Messenger. Facebook has Messenger for your professional pages as well, and it is right there. So if somebody wanted to talk to your organization, then that's actually how they could do it, just as they would talk to you as an individual. Now, we talked about the social media teams, and on Facebook, you can actually give your team members roles. So they wouldn't actually have to log into your personal Facebook page to be able to engage with the professional page, which is actually great because that's your space and you really don't need to have other people operating in it. So page roles is here under your page tips. But if you've been on your page for a while and it's not showing up there, then another place where you can actually see it is under your settings. So if you click settings, you have all of these other options for Facebook. Do not be overwhelmed by the many options. This is just to help you make your page a little more dynamic. Things that you would need to know just immediately are your page roles. So we're going to click page roles. And I could actually say, I want to add people to my page. So if I knew their name, like they were already friends of mine on Facebook, I would just type in their name and it would automatically start to populate. But I put, okay. So if I said, I want my husband to also be a manager of my page, then I would just start typing in his name and I would click him. And I could decide how much, how I want his role to be. So if I wanted him to be able to be an editor, means that he could send messages. It gives a description just under here, and he could publish as the page, and he could respond to delete. He would be an editor. If I wanted him to have the same rights as me, meaning that he could even delete the page, then I would make him an administrator. For many of you, you don't need to have other admins. You could be the only administrator, which means that you will be the only one in that top tier, but you could have editors, you can have people who are moderators. And for the moderator, they would be able to make ads. If somebody posted a comment, they could actually go on and comment on your behalf or the behalf of the organization, and you wouldn't have to be the only person managing that. And they could also delete and they could send messages as the page. If you had somebody, um, let's say you were going to a consulting firm, you wanted them to help you with the advertising, or if they were designing something for you, then you would give them advertiser privileges, meaning that all they would be able to do is adjust ads. And similarly, you could have somebody who is an analyst who is just looking at the effectiveness of your post, and all they would be able to do is look at your insights, which is the analytics that Facebook runs. So for posting, we're talking about editor and moderator and admin, but admin will put them on the same playing field as you and also give them the ability to delete your page. So be very cautious in giving out that level of responsibility. Let's say you already have people on here and you go, oh, I really don't want them on here anymore. You can actually, let me add him. As security, Facebook will ask you for your password and you ask to add people just in case that is not the right password. Okay, so he's now been added. And if I ever decide that I really want to change that, I want to get rid of him being an administrator, all I have to do is go back and delete him off. So our other options on Facebook that are super important are under our general settings. So page visibility, the page that that I made when we started our time together is actually published, which is fine with me. But if I started this page and I went, okay, I'm really not ready for other people to see it, then I would simply have to click edit and unpublish the page. And that means that any adjustments that you were making, nobody would be able to see it but you and the other administrator or the editor or moderator. And then when you were ready, you could actually publish the page. So you could wait until you've completely populated it, which is not a bad idea, with all of your contact information, all of your about information, and then publish the page for other people to see, because at that point you will actually have content with which they could interact. Under visitor post, this page says that anyone can publish to the page and they can add videos and they can add photos. Now, what happens with this is that it just shows up in the feed, but you can actually say, I don't really want that to happen, just by editing that particular section. And what I do on some of my pages is that I want to review it. And it really depends on the page, because if you have a subject matter that could be controversial, or if you found that people kind of troll your pages, and trolling just means that they go on your pages and they look at your pages and will comment just to be adversarial, you can actually set your page up where you could say, before anything is actually posted publicly to my audience, I want to see it first. So to do that, you would just click review. So they could publish, but before anything ever went out publicly, you would have to review it and approve it before it was ever posted. And of course, you could always put disable post. I wouldn't pick this unless there was like some special situation that I was in, because a part of being on social media is that people are allowed to socialize. And in this context is sharing and commenting. So if you disable the ability for them to even say, hey, I like that, or if you post something and they say, hey, can you tell me more information about that? They won't be able to have that communication with you. So you've kind of, in part, defeated the purpose of being on this type of medium. So Under all of these options, you're going to have to click save. If you don't, it doesn't actually accept the changes. My reviews are currently off. If you're running a business, reviews are great. If you're not, they're not always relevant. Um, People can contact my page privately. That's messages. So if they contact your page, they can send a message directly to your page and not necessarily have to post publicly. Something that I always look at is that profanity filter, because I don't want people cursing on my page. So it automatically comes in turned off. Medium and strong are your other options, but I always choose something. And you can actually restrict the age. So Facebook really was not intended for those who are 13 and under. Some of them are there. You're supposed to be a certain age before you can actually create a Facebook page, but not everybody is being watched by their parents, and some parents let their kids be on Facebook. So if you know that your content may not necessarily be appropriate, or you want to definitely restrict it, then this would be the place that you could do that. And you could just choose what age you want to block out. If the person is under the age for drinking and you've chosen alcohol related, they're not going to see your page. It's probably not relevant to any of you, but just be mindful that that is an option. I actually want to show you a couple of things that I cannot show you from this page because there are not enough likes on this page. There are no likes on this page because we just made it. And to see our likes, you would simply look at the menu that's below the profile. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down to like. You click like, and there are 0 likes on this page. That's where you will start. So it's okay. And the default method to get rid of that by Facebook is usually for you to start inviting your friends to like your page. So initially, your friends will be the people who like your page first. But beyond that, will be other people who just happen to go to your page or hear you speaking somewhere, and your likes will start building from there. But in order to show you some of the other components, I will have to go to my page. So if I just search, I get everything that comes up on my page. Okay, so this is what my page looks like. And one of the things that I think is awesome about Facebook is the insights. So if I click insights at the top of the page, I can actually see what's going on with my post. Nobody's viewed me this week. It's a holiday week, so I really haven't done much on it. But if I say I want to go back, then I could actually just look at these dates and change the dates. And Facebook usually gives you 30 days prior. So I changed that date to date in October, and it's telling me my views. And this is the analytics that I told you about, that you actually need to have 30 likes to be able to see this information, but it's important to have. So if I wanted to see my videos, I could click video, and it could tell me the number of views that I had on a particular video that was posted in October. If you're somebody who wants to keep your analytics, then you would need to dump or download the information every month to be able to track it longer. Okay. I have not posted a video in a while, so that's why there's nothing here. But I could always jump over to my library. And every video that you put up, Facebook is going to hold for you. Even if you're doing live videos, it will actually put them in the library for you, and it will keep it. So instead of you having to search through all the posts, say you didn't do a video for 6 months, but you want to go back and see, how did that video do? You don't have to scroll through your news feed on your page. You could just go to your library and see how it did. So I have a couple videos that I think did pretty well, and that were the ones that hit over 200. So if I wanted to see the analytics for it, then I would just click it, wait on it to load, and it will automatically show me the first frame. If I wanted to see what that video was, I could just press play. It will show me the whole video, and it gives me all this information that lets me know how the video did. So there were 203 views, 10-second views were 99. It starts counting at 3 seconds, it being Facebook. So if somebody's sitting there for 3 seconds, it's counting. When you do videos, some tips. It's time consuming, but it's important. When you do a video, don't just do the audio, because Facebook videos actually start in the newsfeed as soon as somebody scrolls to it. So if they scroll to the video in their newsfeed and they pause, Facebook registers that. So if they sit there for 3 seconds, that video is going to be considered viewed. And if they are so inclined, they could actually watch your whole video with no sound on. I do this often. If it has subtitles, then I will read it. If it is just so visually appealing that or silly, I can actually watch it without any words at all. But it's important to have the subtitles, even though it does take time, because there are people who probably shouldn't be looking at Facebook videos at the time that they're doing it. And they can actually sit at work and watch your video, and nobody actually knows that they're doing it. But if you don't have the time to do it or don't want to invest in that, of course, you can just post a video and the person will have to press play, and they will hear you speak or sing or talk about your organization. If you have an important date, I would still at least do that. So this video has the start time of my event, what I was doing, how somebody could sign up, and my name. So they're just some things that you should put out there, because you don't know how far your video is going to be spread. So if Ayana was doing a training and she wanted to put the information out there, she could do a quick slide or a graphic and put that at the end of the video, the last frame or the first frame or both. And that will allow people to still see her information, even if they don't see the whole thing. They will know some basics of it. This is where I can sign up. If I wanted to sign up for today's webinar, I could go to this particular URL and have the information.
Chandra, we've got a question in. What's the difference between views and reached?
Part of it is what I just said. So if somebody went in and they actually sat and they watched the whole video, they would be considered a view under the different categories. But if I watched and then my friend watched and it showed up in my friend's news feed, she may not have actually sat and watched the video, but she was a part of the reach. So the reach is how far it goes in the news feed. So if somebody, say I posted something and then I shared it, then my sister shared it. So now I have that post has my audience and it has the reach of my sister's audience. They may not all click on it, but it has reached those people.
That's excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. So even for never mind, I'll go to something else. Okay. If you are like me and you have more than one Facebook page, you can actually cross post your videos and your posts. And I'm putting that out there, even though some of you may feel like you already told me enough and don't confuse me. So I'm just putting that out there for those who have multiple pages. You can actually cross post so that you're not having to post in both things, even if you don't want to use Hootsuite. And Facebook will do the analytics of the post on both pages. So in our next portion of our time, something that I think you guys really need to know about is Facebook events. That's another item that Facebook is promoting more this year than they did before, and they've added some additional tools to it. So if I have an event coming up, yes, I will do flyers. I will tell my friends, even if they say I'm going to attend that particular event, I will still create an event on Facebook. And it's really, really simple. So I would press events and I get this as my option. Create event. And I could put in a short description for my event. For this one, I would put other my name. I'm going to put Facebook training. I could put whatever I would like to put. I could put a different photo than my timeline photo, which this is the one I'm using today. Location, I would put the geographic location. Yes, it is your organization, but if you're not actually going to hold the training at your organization, don't put it as the location. Because what will happen is if somebody is using their app to get direction, it's going to take them to the location that you entered. So just be mindful of that. If you're having it at a church, put the location of the church so that when that person hits Google Map or they click on the location, they'll get directions that will take them to the appropriate place. So under start and end, you would just pick your start and end time. The limit that Facebook has is 2 weeks. So if for whatever reason you have an event that is 2 weeks in a day, it's not going to let you put all of that in there. I don't know who would have an event over 2 weeks, but some people might. It's just something to be mindful of. So let's say my event's going to be on the 29th. Started at 12 and it'll last, I said 12. Thank you. And it'll last to midnight. 2 o'clock in the morning. If I'm ready to publish, it's the same as the post. I could go ahead and press publish. If I'm not quite ready, then I could save my draft or I could schedule it for later. I'm going to do schedule just because I want to drill that in. So, before I do that, I have to pick my category. So here are your general categories. If it's a community event, then I could put that. If it's under the special interest, like a conference or a particular meetup, I could choose that. Fitness, learning, we could put that we are doing a workshop. free admission. Keywords, Facebook. These keywords are actually populated by Facebook itself, just like the interest. Oh, sorry. Some of those are very inappropriate. Maybe not put any more of those in because I'm not sure what's going to pop up for me. If I were selling tickets or if there was a particular registration page, this is where it could go. And if I had co-host, this is actually pretty important and I think it's underused. So my page could be a co-host. Or, which would be the natural thing, even though it's already going to be associated with the page. Or I could put in that admin that the additional manager, because I didn't make him an admin. I could put him in there. And so when I do that, the event page, his friends will get alerts, and the people who like the page will get alerts. So if you do have a co-host, like, don't forget to put that in, because you can actually spread the event's reach by adding those people in as co-hosts. And again, you have your posting options. Anybody can post. But you have to approve, or only the host can post. And you don't have to have everybody's face listed up there if you don't want to. So that's another option. So again, like I said, we're going to schedule this. And we're going to schedule it to show up like in a minute. The reason why it's kicking my numbers out is because it was already past that particular time. Okay. And then it tells us when it's going to be published. We have 31 seconds before this thing goes live. And everybody will get to see that I have an event coming up. And until then, I have the option to edit it just like I would if this was just a post that was going on the news feed. I would still have the option to edit. And granted, once it's even posted, I will still have the ability to edit it. But once I start editing and it's live, then my people will see it. So if Dr. Irie said she was going, Ayana said they were going, then when I edit anything in regards to this event, whether it's time or location, they will get an alert on their Facebook page that says LaShondra has changed the time, or 3C has changed the time. We have 6 minutes to go. So if there are any questions, feel free to pop in. Oh, sorry, I went to my other page. So another thing I want you to show, this is like what you see when you log into Facebook on the personal side. So once you make your page, remember when we said we wanted our page to show up in favorites? So if you look at favorites, you get everything that you've ever favored, but you also get the page that you made. So the new page that I made is right there under my favorites. And if I ever want to go to it, that would be one of the quickest ways that I can find it. So to get there, I would just have to click the name of the page, which was Making It, and our page pops up. And what you will always see at the top of your page is your analytics of what happened in that week. What you will discover is that Facebook is going to start prompting you. If you haven't been there in a while, it'll say that you missed and that your people would like for you to post something. If it has gotten to the point where it's telling you, then it's probably been a while and you should go ahead and post a little information. I know what I'll share with you. Let's say, remember I talked to you guys about the content, being able to put up content. So if you have a favorite thing that you read and you really want to share that with your people, you can actually pull the content in just like you would from the personal side. Let's see what they're talking about today, New York Times. If I say I want this article, so I would click it. If I wanted to share it, then I could just go to the top of the page and copy that URL. A shortcut on Mac side is the Command button plus C. If you are on a PC, then it's Control C. And I would go back to Facebook, to my Making It page, go to my status, which is where everything is posted, and I would press Command or Control V, which will paste it. And then I get that lovely post. And I get all this gibberish, which is the URL. I don't have to keep that because Facebook has already pulled in the article, and I could change that to, oops, really? Autocorrect? So we want that to be our post. And I could actually say publish, and it will publish immediately, or I can press schedule or backdate it or save it. One more time with scheduler. So I want this to go out in an hour. So now I have 3 scheduled posts. The next one is today at 1:28. If I want to see it, I can just click see post, and it takes me to publishing tools, and those are my posts. If there's anything that I want to get rid of, I could just click it, go to actions, and press delete. If I want to cancel it, I can cancel it. If I want to change the time, I can. If I want to send it out immediately, I will simply click publish. But you can always edit before it hits the newsfeed. And if it does go to your newsfeed and you're like, oh my God, I really didn't mean to post that, then all you would do is go to that particular post, click that little drop down arrow. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what that is. And you could either delete it off your page. If you don't want to delete it, you can just hide it from the timeline, which means that you will be the only person who sees it. You could edit it, or you could pin it to the top of the page. So if you have something that's super important, you want everybody to see it, you don't want it to get lost down in your news feed, then you could post it and click pin to the top of the page. So when you click that, let's give it a second to update. And you scroll down, and now it's pinned to the top of the page. And you'll know because it will actually have that little pin. And when you want to get rid of that pin post, you would just click the drop down arrow and unpin it from the top of the page. So that's our time. I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. And as I produce aids and helps, which I hope to do over the holiday, I will be sharing it with Ayana to hopefully help you along this path.
Excellent. Well, thank you, LaShondra. We did have one last question come in. I didn't want to miss it.
Okay.
This is from Savaskia. My personal page and nonprofit are on the same setup. If I take down my personal page, will my nonprofit page stay?
No.
Okay.
Facebook requires you to have a personal page in order to have a page for your organization. It used to be that you could actually create a page for an organization or a business and just log in differently, but they've gotten rid of that. So you have to have the personal to be able to have the other types of pages.
That's good. And one more, about boosting. Do you recommend boosting at this stage or for social enterprises?
I would not unless you have a reason to boost. If you had an event coming up, that would be something that would be worth boosting. But it would have to be something that you were really advertising, or if you were um, kicking off your service and you really wanted to get a large crowd or really, put yourself out there, I would boost. But at this point, I wouldn't. I would mostly do it around an event or an offer, or if there was a special service, I would do it for something that was outside of the norm.
Makes sense. All right. Well, thank you so much, LaShondra. This has been awesome. Just to remind everyone, this was recorded. So once we get, Zoom has to manufacture the URL for us. But once we get that together, we will post the link or the file to be able to access this webinar once again. We're so glad. I know everybody wasn't able to stick around to the end, but thank you for those of you who can still hear us, for hanging in there. And I'm excited to see that some of you were editing your pages right now as she was talking. So
Awesome.
I love that. That's exactly what we were hoping would happen. So bless you. Enjoy your holiday. Make use of this time. Remember, people are all over Facebook on Thanksgiving as soon as they're done eating. So
Yes.
if you want to put a post or something together, now's a really great time. And we hope that you enjoy your holiday, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kate.
Bye.
Guys.
So I was trying, here she is. I was trying to add Casey back as a panelist so we could chat a bit.
Did you want to record this part, or does it matter? Because you're still recording.
Thank you.
Will it be on the?
Let me figure out how to stop it.
Oh,
There we go.